technology, engineering, and mathematics. Thank you guys for joining. Those are joining us live, thank you as well. So today's session is on cybersecurity, and with us, Tasnim, thanks for joining. With us, we have a very wonderful lady. Her name is Hope. We met Hope during the Young Scientist Kenya Mombasa outreach, and she's doing a wonderful job when it comes to cybersecurity. I'll just let her introduce herself, but she's in the field of cybersecurity, and she's volunteered to speak with us today. But I believe with her experience and being a lady in this field is very minute, and I'm very happy that she's joining us today. So the topic for today is on cybersecurity. I've had a case just today. One of my aunts, her phone was hacked. And sometimes we usually feel like some of these little things that we do not put in consideration, like clicking into phishing emails, phishing links. These are things that are very key, and it's very important for us to be able to understand the concept of how people can be cyberbullied online. So as a cybersecurity analyst, that's Hope. She's going to tell us more about it, what she actually does, and why she's with us today. But overall, just a quick update to everyone. Please be aware of these ongoing attacks which are online. Someone shares with you a link, please try and verify the link. Test it with a different phone without even using your phone. Because sometimes you might see a link and you think this is an eligible link for you to click, but it ends up becoming a phishing link. And that way your email is hacked, your password is hacked, and everything in your phone gets hacked. And now you find people now getting so much attention. So I think Hope you're with us. Hope if you could switch your video so that some of the people here can know you. And then I have my team with me here, Mark and Mulki. Please, Mulki and Mark, if you can just introduce yourself and the role you play, and then we can rush back to Hope so that she can start us off. If you have questions and answers, please keep them posted. We will continue and pick them later. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mulki Mohammed. I'm a communication lead at Girl.
Yes.
Support.
Thank you so much, Mulki. Thank you so much.
Because I believe in making a difference in someone's life, and we I hope everyone will learn a lot from you guys, from you, and this kind of meeting. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mulki, for your continuous effort. We really appreciate. Mulki was to join us last week, but I don't think if she was able to. But we met Hope during that event. So Mark, kindly just introduce yourself, and then we'll allow Hope to kick us off. I hope you can hear me well. Eh? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. Mark?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Mark.
My name is Mark Ombacho, and I'm proud to be part of this session of cybersecurity.
Thank you so much, Mark. So thank you, girls, for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Those joining us live, thank you as well. Today, we're going to work on a very important topic, which is cybersecurity. So Hope, if you can hear me, could you just unmute, introduce yourself, let the people know what you do, where you come from, which organizations do you work for, and yeah, tell us more about cybersecurity. I think this is something we all need to get so much enlightened about. Because when it comes to cyber attacks, these are things that happen on a daily basis. So yeah, those joining us live, please reserve your questions on cybersecurity. We will post them to the speaker as the session goes on. Hope, back to you.
Thank you so much, Keita. It's always a pleasure. I met, I think, part of the team during the outreach with YSK. That was last weekend. And
Yeah.
I'm so impressed with what you guys are doing. So I've just settled down. I had told Keita I have another session running. So I'm running up and down. So I can just put my video on for a minute. You see, Lenaka kwa ID. So this is me, this is Hope, and it's good to be here. So who am I? I'm a cybersecurity professional. Currently, I'm doing research. I'm a research assistant with Cybershuja and also a risk and compliance consultant. So I've worked with Seriano, the company Seriano, as a risk and compliance consultant, and then for Cybershuja, I am doing research. So research basically into the cybersecurity industry, into the skills gap that is there. What else? Into the issue of how many women we don't have in cybersecurity. So also looking at the different opportunities that are there. So what our organization does as Cybershuja, I think that's important before I share my slides. So Cybershuja is an organization formed from 3 different organizations. So we have Seriano, we have Kenya Bankers Association, and we have what we call USIU, which is the university. So these 3 organizations came together because there was the issue of people graduating and not finding jobs, and those who are in the industry hiring managers, having jobs but not finding the right people for them. So we have a skills gap there. So Cybershuja tries to bridge that skills gap. So we look into what do the industry want. So that is why we have Kenya Bankers Association that gives us the industry's voice. So what are people looking into the industry, specifically in cybersecurity? What are the skill sets that you're supposed to have? What kind of experience is relevant for them? Are your ethics on point? So that is what the industry is looking for. And then we have now USIU telling us this is what we teach in schools. This is the skills that we equip them with. Then we look at the gap there, and that is where Cybershuja comes in. So we take you on a 3-month program. That is our main program for those who are finishing campus. So 3 months, you either do security analyst course or cloud and network security. Then we teach you on the skills that are needed in the industry, and then we help you place in jobs. So we've trained almost 2,000 people, and we've placed over 1,000 in jobs. So that is what we're currently doing. So I'll go ahead and share my slides and just demystify what cybersecurity is, the different ways you can get into the industry, what you should be doing if you're interested in it, and also how to identify your interest in cybersecurity. So yeah, I'll go ahead. So I don't know if I'm still audible. My internet has been messing up the whole day, so I hope I'm audible.
Yes, we can hear you, Hope. Please go on.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to share.
Yes. Hope, please, you can be able to share your screen so that you can be able to see the slides kindly.
Yeah, so I'm trying to to share, and it's giving me a problem. Just give me a minute, and then I'll share.
Okay. So I think, girls, those that are going to go in the field of tech, and you have a way to go. You have a 3 months program that I'm sure Hope can link some of us, and you will be able to get through. So I think Hope has been able to share her screen. Thank you, Hope.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's sharing the entire screen or just the slides anyway.
I think we can work with the slides. That would be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Wow. Okay, so a career in cybersecurity. So I'll start by talking about just picking your interest. I think someone's mic is on.
Sandals na size 40, 43 hapo.
There's someone, kindly mute your mic. Okay. So, common cybersecurity terms. So, the first one obviously is cybersecurity and what this entails. So, like Ada had explained, she'd talked about hacking, she'd talked about, and that applies to both your, let's say, accounts, Instagram, social media accounts. It applies to your bank accounts. It applies to what else can be hacked? Your IoT devices, your phone, So, cybersecurity basically is securing the cyberspace. This includes the data that is out there, it includes the technologies that are out there. So, it includes also the devices. So, simply securing these things in the cyberspace or store data or transmit data is what we talk about when you're talking about cybersecurity. So another common term is data security. So as the name entails, it is safeguarding data from unauthorized access, breaches, or corruption. And data can be your personal information, what we call PII. Data is, your home address, your photos is personal data. So making sure that, imagine we have Google Photos and you've backed up your photos there, and you're secure in the knowledge that Google can make sure that only you can access those photos. So securing that data or information or those things that are close to you that are on the cyberspace is what we call cybersecurity. And then when we come down to securing the data itself is what we call data security. And then another common term is information security. So you'll hear people saying, oh, I'm doing information security. Then someone else says, oh, I'm doing cyber security. Or you're applying for courses in campus and you're like, oh, what's the difference between a degree in cyber security or doing information security or a certification in either? So these words are kind of used interchangeably many times. So when we talk of information security, we are talking of not only securing things that are in the cyberspace, but also securing physical things. So in organizations, securing the office area, securing where you live. So information security is protecting of information and information security against unauthorized access. So all of it in general. And then IT security is exactly that, securing information technologies. Then the last term here is information security policies. So why this term is here is because you can form a career on this. So industries have policies for how they handle customer data. That is why we have, like, for Kenya, we have the Data Protection Act, which was formed in 2019. So it dictates how customer data is stored, how it's transmitted, how long it's stored, how you use that customer data, how are you safeguarding it. So those kind of things form a policy. So if you're in the banking industry, you have a policy, you have, let's say, the data protection policy, you may have an information security policy, you may have physical security policy. So a collection of these directives and regulations or rules and practices that guide how an organization manages, secures, and shares information. So that is information security policy. So, like I said, policies can differ from what exactly you're dealing with. So, this one specifically is for information security. You can have physical security, you can have phone or IoT device security policies. So, that depends. And you can form a career in basically assessing companies for these policies. And that is where now compliance comes in, where you check the policies in the industry against the internal policies of the company, and then you compare if they are meeting standards and such a view. So if I go too fast, feel free to stop me at any point. And also if you need clarification. So
Girls, 1 minute, Hope. I think
yeah.
you're going on well. Girls, I hope you're taking notes. These are things that you really need to put a lot of emphasis in. Yeah, Hope, you can continue.
Okay, thank you, Keita. So, other terms, cybersecurity terms you hear about, I categorize this under threats, the threats to our devices or to our systems. So, that can be one of the threats is a virus. I think we've all heard of a virus, and I'm not talking of coronavirus. So, in technical terms or in IT, we also have viruses. So, we have programs that can, these are basically programs that can damage, delete, or change the information on your computer and then move on to infect other computers. So when you talk of, don't, you hear people telling you when you have a USB or what are they called, a flash disk or a drive, don't just take anything and insert into your computer. You may get a virus. So a virus is, I'd like to compare it with a medical virus. So it infects your devices and then it can damage, it can delete, it can change what is in your device, and it can also move in from your computer to other computers that are linked to your computer. So that is what a virus does. And then we have a worm. A worm is a harmful program. It's very much, it's like a type of virus, but the only difference is that as it spreads to your network, it can copy itself. We say a worm is self-replicating. It copies itself, and it can also, yeah, that's the main
Yeah.
difference between a worm and a virus.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, then we have a data breach. This is, we've heard of cases where, let's say there was a time Naivas had said they've been hacked, and people were like, oh, their data, a customer data has been put out there or something of the sort. So that is an example of a data breach. This is where information in a system is accessed illegally, or information that was not supposed to be accessed is accessed either from outside or within an organization. That is basically a data breach. Okay. So other common terms is malware. So you see those terms: virus, worms, ransomware. All these are types of malware. Malware is a collective word for any malicious software. So it's a program, any program designed to gain unauthorized access or harm your computer. That is what a malware is. So I'm just trying to give familiar terms so that, yeah, I can just pique your interest. And then we have a ransomware. I think this sounds very similar to a ransom. So basically, what a ransomware is it locks, it's a type of malware or a malicious software that when it infects your device, it encrypts all your files. So you can't access your files, it locks them up, in simple words. And then you have to pay the perpetrators of this act in order to get back your files. So they hold your files and your system until you pay a ransom. That is what we call a ransomware attack. And then a social engineering attack is a common example is, you see those calls you get from, people say it's committee. I don't know how how true that is. I don't want to be quoted, but those calls you get from malicious people, and they tell you, oh, let's say I'm from Equity Bank, and your account is about to be closed. I need you to share this, and that. That's a social engineering attack. So they are trying to trick you in order for you to give away sensitive information, such as your passwords, your credit card numbers, by pretending to be someone trustworthy. So that's a social engineering attack. That's just one example of it. And then a phishing attack is basically sending of fake emails, texts, or calls that look that like they are from a legitimate source, and then they steal sensitive information from you. So just think of, a phishing attack is a form of social engineering. It's just that it takes a different, it can be in the form of an email. When we are talking to people in the industry, we tell them you can get an email that looks like it's from your boss, but it's not from them, and it's telling you, oh, it sounds urgent, I need you to transfer this amount of money for me, and I need it done immediately. That can be a form of phishing attack. Or it can be, it pretends to be a company site. Let me bring it home. Like, let's say Girls iSave have a website, and we know during Christmas they give giveaways. Let's say certification coupons for different, let's say Microsoft and such. So you get an email from supposedly Girls iSave, and they're telling you, we have this giveaway for Christmas. May click on this link in order to get it. But in real sense, it's not Girls iSave that has sent that. So that link can be attached to something malicious, like a virus or a worm that you download, or it can lead to a site that isn't the correct one, and you end up giving your credentials to log in, and they get that data. So that is what we call a phishing attack. And it can happen in terms of an email, a text, or a call. Last, on cybersecurity terms, we have a vulnerability. So vulnerabilities are weaknesses in the design or implementation or operation of a system, a person, a process. So basically, a weakness is what we call a vulnerability. A good example would be, if where you work, you guys share credentials, you share passwords and whatever, and logins to, let's say, your Google accounts, then that is a vulnerability. If I was an attacker, that is your weakness. I'd check, oh, these people in this organization share credential details. So what do I need to do? I just need to lie to one person or get details from one person, and then I can access everything in their system. So a vulnerability is a weakness. It can be in a network. Let's say your network is not secured. It can be in the processes in your organization. Like I've shared about the email, it can be in your policies, they are not up to date and all stuff. So those are vulnerabilities, those are weaknesses. Yeah. So any questions so far?
I think, Hope, it's very important that you've at least mentioned some of the cyber attacks that people can like come across, because essentially it's very important. Right now, we find people getting emails, phishing links, and they click up to them. Like I was sharing with the team earlier, my aunt was recently phished, and the phone was attacked, the email. She's just so much confused because the guy keeps sending messages. She's blocked all the social media accounts because again it was through the email, and the password was also hacked. So I think it's important, if you like, you went through each and every cyber attack from malware to ransomware and made them understand, because these are the key important things in cybersecurity. I think if they have questions, um, I think there's a question already from Jamila. How can one keep off the virus attached to a USB? I think, Hope, you can pick some of those questions. And those joining us online, we are having a session on cybersecurity. Please, if you have any question, put it down. We will give our speaker of the day to answer. Hope, back to you.
Okay. So because I'm sharing my screen, I can't see the questions as they come, so you can just tell me. I think you've said Someone kindly repeat the question that is there.
Okay. There's a question here. Someone asks, how can one keep off the viruses attached to the USBs?
It's a simple answer. Don't okay, there are scanners. You can have your USB scanned. I think there are softwares that can scan for viruses. But then I usually say if it's not, you see how you share what do we call them? This we call them peripheral devices. I'm looking for the word. How you share these devices. If it's not yours, don't share. You get, if you don't know whose USB drive that is, don't put it into your computer. But I know there are softwares that you can use to scan for viruses. I also encourage that you always have what are they called? Uh, these scanners, security scanners on your laptop or on your device, so that immediately you connect an external device, they scan it and they let you know if there are any issues on that device. And then if there are any, you immediately unplug that particular device. Yeah. Okay. So if I'll go ahead to cybersecurity principles. So I call this the three pillars, jiwe tatu.
Hope, just a
Yeah.
minute, Hope. I think, could you share your screen on that specific slide? Because I feel like we've been stuck in the first slide. I mean, when you talk of the three principles, can we have the slide projected? Just click towards it. Yes, the CI principles of
Oh, okay.
cybersecurity.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Mhm. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So cybersecurity principles, these are the main three principles. We have integrity, availability, and confidentiality. So this is what cybersecurity, this is the basics, this is the foundation for cybersecurity. So in terms of integrity, this is making sure that the data that is there or the information has been put has not been changed in any single way. So integrity, the truthfulness of the information or that information has not been changed apart from the person who is supposed to change that information. So the integrity of that data. And then availability is where we talk about making sure that particular information is available to its users, or a particular system is available to its users when it's supposed to. So if I'm logging into LinkedIn should be available to me when I'm logging in. Availability is impinged on when you try to log in, let's say, to a site, or let's say a Citizen or LinkedIn, and you can't access that site, then we lose availability. Then integrity is impinged on when what is put on or portrayed on the site has been changed by a malicious person or someone who wasn't supposed to change it. Then we have confidentiality. Confidentiality is making sure that information is secured and can only be accessed by the right person. So when you think of confidentiality, think of what passwords do for you. They make sure that only you can access that confidential information. So these are the three main cybersecurity principles. We have integrity, availability, and confidentiality. So, why cybersecurity? So this is a question I was asking myself. I remember some time back, someone asked me, why are you doing cybersecurity? What is there? What role do you play? What significance is what you're doing? Does what you're doing have to, let's say, the society as a whole? Sometimes you pick a course and you end up doing it and you don't know why you're doing it. So, why cybersecurity in general terms? First, I'll say the rising cyber threats. if you can check statistics, and also why this is actually a topic is because, just like Gada has given an example of a relative who was vulnerable to an attack, cybersecurity threats are now rising everywhere. There is, you can no longer access a site without checking twice. You can't click an email before confirming that is the right sender. You can't use your banking application on public Wi-Fi because of the rising cyber threats that are there. And those threats are what we were talking about. We're talking about viruses, ransomware. We have DDoS, denial of service attacks. There are so many attacks that are on the rise, and that is why cybersecurity is important to you at the moment. Even if you do not practice it as a professional, it is always important to be aware of where you're vulnerable and what good practices you should have while handling your internet devices. Then we have protection of sensitive data. This is another reason cybersecurity is important. So our data is everywhere these days. Let's say is on the internet is what I mean. So we have our IDs on ID numbers, let's say in the KRA portal or in the eCitizen portal. If you go to hospital, they key in your medical, what do we call them? Um, your medical things, what is going on with you
Yes,
in
you data.
their systems. Yeah, so your medical data, thank you, Geda. Your
Mhm.
medical data in their systems. So they key that into their system, and this is personal information. Some of this is even where you live. You have in insurance companies, they have a lot of your financial information. In your where you bank, they also have a lot of financial information about you. So protection of this sensitive data is why cybersecurity is important. And then we have compliance and regulation. So you remember when we were just starting, we talked about policies and company having policies and also industries having policies. So being I'll bring it down to, let's say, the Data Protection Act of Kenya. That is a policy that companies are supposed to adhere to. So when the Data Protection Act came, when it was first, let me say, published, or when it was first brought into our space, we had issues of um, companies and organizations being charged with fines and, big fines and court cases because they weren't complying to that particular regulation. So cybersecurity is important because it helps organizations comply to the regulations that governments have put in place, that industries have put in place to make sure that data has been secured. And then economic impact. So back to, let's say, fines and compliance. So what cybersecurity brings in is ensuring that an organization is not hit by big fines, ensuring that the users are in a secure environment. So it has a large economic impact on how organizations are, let's say, how organizations are moving in the industry. So that is another reason for cybersecurity. And then obviously national security. So you've heard of crimes perpetrated by people, let's say in Russia, or cyber warfare. So cybersecurity actually secures a country's security or a country's adherence to security. So national security is very important. Imagine if let's say UK or even Kenya was hacked by some other country, and our codes, our secret codes, or those governmental or military codes that are not supposed to be let out are let out. That would be a very critical hit on our national security. And then we have business continuity. So the thing with cybersecurity, it's not just being aware of your threats and your vulnerabilities and how to secure them. It's also preparing for when I am hacked. So if you're working in an organization, or even you yourself, we usually tell people it's not a matter of you will never be hacked. That's not what cybersecurity is about. It's a matter of when you're hacked, then what? How do you bounce back from that data breach? How do you recover from that ransomware attack? Do you have backups in place? Do you have redundancy models in place? So, business continuity, ensuring that even when you're hacked, you can come back for it. Or even when your systems have a downtime, you have another way to offer your services. Or even if your files are encrypted, you have a redundant measure that ensures that those particular files or that particular process in the organization can go on. So, cybersecurity ensures business continuity. And then last but not least is protecting innovation. So cybersecurity ensures that whatever upcoming innovation that is there is protected. So we have AI, we have what else is coming up? All this, we have robotics in the industry.
Robotics, yeah, Internet of
Yeah.
Things.
Mhm. So cybersecurity ensures that all these upcoming activities and innovations are protected. Because imagine if you have AI in your home, you have a smart house and it is hacked by, let's say, robbers. They'll be able to access your home and even harm you. So that is protecting innovation. So this personally my main reason why cybersecurity is very important to our lives. So I'll pause there in case there's any question or comment. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
just a minute.
Hope. There's a
Yeah.
question. Jamila
Okay.
asks, do the viruses immediately get detached once inserted, or it happens differently when you talk of viruses attached to the USB?
Oh, okay. Interesting. So I think it happens differently depending on what kind of a virus it is, and also what is the intention of this attack. So you can connect your USB, and the kind of malware that gets attached to your system, I'm looking for a way to explain, does not necessarily act immediately. So it sits in your computer gathering information. So it simply learns how you do things, what until it gets, it's information gathering. Maybe even your device is not the target. You're in a company and your devices work in the same network. So your device is just the small device to help gather information, and then it moves on to attack bigger fish. So that's a way it can act. It can act in form of disrupting your systems. So you can usually notice something is up. Maybe there are glitches while you're trying to open certain things. It can be also just to collect information. There are some that are key stroke loggers attack, where they collect your data as you enter them in different sites. So it generally depends on what kind of a virus or what is the end end achievement that that particular malicious person wants to achieve. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, there's a question. Maybe you will answer this at the end. Again from Jamila. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Jamila is an aspiring cloud engineer, so I'm sure these things are very
Ah,
interesting
nice.
to her. Can the
Uh-huh.
viruses also be attached to videos like in the social media or YouTube?
Yeah. So I remember this. There was a similar topic I did when I was in campus. I can't really remember how, but yeah, you can have files that have been. Is it? Do I say encrypted? No, it's not encryption. But a file can have something like a malware or a virus attached to it. So you can download, let's say, a file or a video from a site, and then it has something to infect your computer, but then you can't tell immediately. So yes, it is quite possible. I mean, the landscape for cyber threats is so wide. It's so wide, and especially with the up and coming technologies such as cloud, it's even wider. So yes, that is possible. Hello, I hope I didn't lose you. Hello.
Yes, so hope we have around 15 minutes. So if you can just wrap it up and then we can ask for more questions. Yeah, and we can
Okay.
end by 9:15 exactly. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So, what can I do? So, I've really tried to summarize this because, like I said, the landscape is so wide. So, there is offensive security, there is defensive, and there is a bit of both. So, offensive, so I'll share the slides with Gaida after this so that she can share them. Then, so offensive security, I'd say you act like the hacker, or you act as the malicious force. So the point is to identify, access, and mitigate vulnerabilities before the actual malicious force identifies them. So you see, so if there is patching in your network that hasn't been done, it is you to identify and assess these issues before someone else who is malicious does this and gains access. So, key components of offensive security is usually ethical hacking. I think we've had this a lot. So, uh, which is simply authorized attempts to gain unauthorized access to systems to identify security weaknesses. So you hack for the greater good in simple words. And then we have penetration testing. So this is simulating cyber attacks on systems to evaluate how good those security defenses are. Then we also have red teaming. This is a comprehensive testing involving simulating real world attack scenarios by an independent team. So this offensive security is basically attacking to check what vulnerabilities are in that system or are in that device or are in that network or are in that servers and so on and so on. So this is one area of cybersecurity that can be accessed. And then career opportunities in offensive security. We have the most common ethical hacker. Then we have penetration tester. You can be a red teamer. You can be a security consultant. You can also be a bug bounty hunter. So those are the career opportunities here. Um, then we have defensive security. So the point of defensive security is to protect and shield. Think of firewalls. Think of intrusion detection systems and prevention systems, antiviruses and anti-malwares, encryption. You know, so all these are ways to defend against an attacker. So this is what people in defensive security do, and it's not really a black and white. So you can find that is why we had a medium place in the image. You can find someone who practices both offensive and defensive security, depending on your job description and on your skills. So what firewalls are, they basically monitor and control incoming and outgoing traffic. Then you can so if it's malicious, a firewall would be expected before it enters into your system or into your network. And then we have intrusion detection or prevention systems. They identify and block malicious activities. Antiviruses and anti-malwares, they detect and remove malicious software. We have encryption. Encryption is basically protecting data by converting it into an unreadable code, and then having only those who are supposed to access this data have more of the decryption key to be able to access this particular data or file. So it's defending by making sure that only those with the decryption key can access this particular file. And then we have what we call a SIM. So this is a security information and event management system. What this does, it monitors live environments. So like for Serianu, they have a SIM that monitors for their clients everything that is going on in their systems or their networks. And if there is an issue, it pops up immediately. So it's a 24-hour monitoring system. Then career opportunities here, we have you can be a security analyst, a security engineer, you can be an incident responder, a security architect, or a compliance officer. So these are the different career opportunities in defensive security. So, how can I start a career in cybersecurity? So, like the picture says, I hope my screen is on this slide. The picture says the first step is always the hardest, which is true. Cybersecurity is wide, so it can look daunting at first. But then what I say, pick one thing and just start. Just start however you can. So there is no one path into the industry. You can't say, oh, first get a degree, then or first get a diploma, then a degree, then masters, and then this I find that tech is the I won't say the easiest industry to get into, but it's the one that has been made most accessible because you don't need to go into a formal setting, though it is advised. So one way is to going to college or university. So some of the courses offered in colleges and universities are computer science, information security, information technology, things to do with networking, and also digital forensics. So those are some of the courses that you can find in institutions. And then when it comes to certifications, these are the beginner certifications that I would advise. So we have Cisco. I like Cisco because they've really tried to bring cybersecurity home in of trying to make the initial courses free. So there is Cisco Introduction to Cybersecurity, Cyber Essentials. We have the Cisco Ethical Hacking course. We have the ISC Squared certificate in cybersecurity. So all the first four courses are free, as per my knowledge. So the first four courses are free, and for people starting cybersecurity, I advise to try them out. They'll really give you a feel of the domain, and also they have tests like exams, so they help you get certifications and make you more accessible to the industry. And then another one is CompTIA Security Plus. These are also sought after um, certifications. We have CompTIA A Plus, Network Plus. I also know we have the CCNA course. That's also a nice one. And then we have the EC Council Certified Ethical Hacker. So these are all beginner certificates that you can start with when you want to venture into cybersecurity. Okay. So, cybersecurity, you need to learn. It's a life of continuous learning every single day. Even as I talk, the things I'm looking at and I'm like, oh, this is something I should still go back and learn more about. So, I've listed a few sites you can use to learn. So there's Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, Portswig Academy for web security, Cyber Talent, Cybrary, Code Academy. So most of these sites have free options. So you can start with the free accessible opportunities, and then once you have the funding, once if you can afford to, you go on and pick a whole course that you can pay for. So these are sites that give you practical skills. It's not theory. You can actually try a Hackbox try Hack Me and such have you. So you can feel what these attacks feel like. And then also, I felt it was necessary to give you communities you can follow that can help you keep in touch with what is going on in the industry and learning opportunities. So we have She Hacks Kenya. So this one is basically for ladies in the cybersecurity field, and I feel like they have good events and good networking opportunities. Then we have Cyber Shuja, obviously where I work. So also for those who are in the field and want to get that extra certification, and also the mentorship sessions. And then we have women tech makers. They also offer opportunities in cybersecurity. We have Africa Hackon. Africa Hackon is good. They have events that you can attend. They have, they give you a community that can keep you up on your toes. And then I listed Isaka because Isaka has good offers for student membership so that you can be able to get certifications. And they also usually have scholarship opportunities from time to time. Yeah. So I've come to the end of my slides. So my last slide is there's no one true path to success. Allow yourself to fail. Not because okay, allow yourself to fail sounds harsh, but more of be kind to yourself. Success is a series of failures, trying again, failing again, and trying again. Be kind to yourself, especially when it comes in cybersecurity. You will have attacks that you don't master the first time, the second time, and you have to try again and again. So it's a learning journey. It's a process of reinventing yourself and over again and continuously learning because things come up at all times. So thank you so much. That is all I had. And if there are any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay. Thank you so much, Hope, for today's session. I don't know if there's any questions. You can put them on the chat box down there before we close. Is there any questions? There's no questions. Okay, then thank you so much, Hope, for today's session on cybersecurity. I know that most of us we have learned a lot from today's session, and we are so glad to have you today and to be part of our online session. This is the first of many sessions, and we are glad that you are available to help us through this course.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for the invite. It was a pleasure. I hope to see more and more people venturing into cybersecurity. It is an issue at hand and at large where we need more people into the field. So, like I said, I'll share the slides. And thank you for the opportunity. I hope I see more of you into the field. Yeah.
Sure, sure. I see Aisha has her hand raised. Maybe I'll give her a chance to talk. Okay. Okay, then I think we can end the session. The slides, hopefully, Hope will send us the slides, then we'll share them to the group. And
Sio,
also,
hata niko na yeye maji ako hapo, nikamwambia hi. Thank you, Hope, for everything. I really learned a lot from you, even though nilianza Cisco, but ikanishinda. Now I'm in software developer. I'm doing front end, but yeah, I really benefited a lot, and I hope all the girls here will benefit. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay, also the recording for today's session, we'll send a link for the recording so that you can follow through. For those who maybe did not get some points or you want to share with others who are not able to join. But I think it's good night for everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night. Bye. Mark, uende kulala?
Mark,
Ama una
Ati
aendi kulala, una form?
Mark
Una
jambo,
form?
Mulki hamjambo you guys.
hatujambo.
Hatujambo.
It's been a while, I miss you.
Hata
Shazoea
Miss
sasa
you
kumsoma Mark.
too.
Mark, sijakulipa
Eh?
milioni zako 2.
milioni zangu 2 hujanilipa.
Then Mulki, kesho siwezi kuja
Eh?
huko public speaking.
Haina shida. Mwenye niko kuchorwa. Niko
Oh.
kuchorwa.
Weed.
Kwanza niko meeting na niko kwa uchoraji.
Kwa naziko. Okay. Feel unataka kuongea ongea, situletee. Haya, bye Mulki.
Bye. Mama kuliamua useme ukae.
Vika
Ama
Una
kashe.
form
Oh, yuko bado. Haya,
nachorwa.
Feel you can
una
talk
form
now.
basi. Una form.
You guys, man, I really
Hilton,
miss you.
mambo.
Ati?
Maka una form. Mpaka sasa mbaki kwa meeting.
Mulki, niambie.
Poa tu vipi?
Nimeingia live
Niko poa
mpaka
dia. Nilikuwa
waniita.
ninataka kumsumbua Mark na amebaki.
Imagine, tumeshazoea kumsoma Mark.
Ngoja kwanza niwachoe. Ngoja kwanza
Bana. Mark mrudi.
Na wewe Mark, mambo gani sasa hayo?
Haizi kuwatoa, mi ndo host. Atawatoa aje? Tiki
Unataka kutubuli, mwangalie vile.
Wewe, ushasema wewe.
mi ndo host. Sasa nikitaka kukutoa ukatafute fomu unaweza toka.
Yeah.
Hope mko poa lakini